LGBTQ plus minus square root of 6, all that sort of thing. Because I said to my friend Steve, now Steve, I'm not really sure, but I'd say Steve was about 47, 48. Now I'm 34 tomorrow, believe it or not. you can't believe it, can you? Gary Bull. Pinning a number on Gary Bull, an age for Gary Bull. It's marvellous. But Steve, right, I'd say Steve 47, 48. And I was there with Steve from the very beginning. And I saw Steve, I wouldn't say change looking back, because it had always been there for Steve. But I saw, well, we're using superlatives now, like alter, which is the same as change. But Steve, let's say Steve began to show their, I'm not going to say his or hers, let's say Steve chose their true colours, or not even true colours, but their true self. Steve began to show their true self. Ooh. Last year, maybe? Middle of last year? And hello, Puss. Now, the thing with Steve, at the time, like, Steve, as well as, like, wanting to become what Steve had always wanted as a man in his late 40s, he'd always wanted to be what he became last year. And that really occurred when he changed his name to Greta Thunberg. And as soon as Steve began to be known as Greta Thunberg, Steve's life, it just, my mind, I mean, I've done all sorts of things in my life. I've witnessed this, I've been there, I've been that, I've known a few people. I even knew Forrest Gump. Not many people can say they know Forrest Gump. But Steve, one of my closest friends, who I guided from the very beginning, is, he's now known as Greta Thunberg. And that's just, he's blossomed, or they have blossomed, since Steve has decided to be, instead of being 48-year-old Steve from Rotherham, he's now 15 or 16 or whatever, 14, 13. If I owned a hat, because I don't own a hat, if I owned a hat, I'd take it off to Steve and I'd say, well done. You're solving all the world's problems. You and David Attenborough, you're curing everything. Now, David Attenborough, he's about 93, 94. I take my hat off to him too. Because that guy, he's going on about 50 years from now. I'm not even going to be here 50 years from now. David Attenborough won't be, but he's solving all the world's problems. He's telling us all to cut back on cigars and just go on to cigarettes. The guy knows his stuff. I mean, since I've listened to David Attenborough, I've cut back on the brandy. I've just gone on to wine. It's less volume consumption. And that is David Attenborough. That's what he told me. David Attenborough's done that. But Steve, he's a great pal. And he's done so much. Now he's become Greta Thunberg. And I was saying to Boris, my friend, not Boris the Spider from Who, but Boris Johnson. And I said, Boris, and he said, what, Gary Bull? Gary Bull, yeah. And I said, Boris, stop all that. We know you got a full head of hair. We know that you probably haven't got much testosterone in you, because you're like 50 odd and you've still got hair, which isn't right for a man. And I said, Boris, your Prime Minister now, you've got a landslide. Usually a landslide would kill a bunch of people, but no, it's like rejuvenated the Liverpool area for some reason. Because they all voted for Boris. You've done that, Boris, and what are you going to do now? And he said, well, I'm going to get Steve. And I said, Boris, no. They are not called Steve. They have renounced that. They are Greta Thunberg. Boris, no.